Welcome back to the channel where we uncover hidden treasures in your pocket change and explore the most fascinating stories behind rare coins. Rarest coins. Today, we're talking about a coin that millions of people have seen, many have spent without thinking twice, and some lucky individuals have held on to, without realizing its potential value. That coin is the 1967 Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks like just another quarter. But under the surface lies a story of transition in U.S. coinage history, rare mint errors, and a few incredibly scarce varieties that have sold for thousands, and in one extreme case, nearly $2 million. That's right. A rare 1967 Washington quarter reportedly sold in a private auction for a jaw-dropping $1.90 million. So let's break it all down. We're going to talk about the history of the 1967 quarter, why it's special, what you should be looking for, and how a small handful of these coins are worth serious money. Let's start with the history. In 1967, the United States Mint was still dealing with the aftermath of the nationwide coin shortage that began in the early 1960s. Just a few years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. removed silver from quarters and dimes due to rising metal prices. This was a huge shift. Up until then, quarters were made of 90% silver. But starting in 1965, the Mint introduced a new composition, a copper core with a cupronickel outer layer. That's the same clad composition used today. Now, because of the ongoing shortage, the Mint took additional steps in 1965, 1966, and 1967 to increase coin production. One of the biggest changes was that during these years, the Mint did not use mint marks. That's right. All coins from 1967 were intentionally struck without a mint mark, meaning you won't see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. This made it nearly impossible to track where the coins were coming from, which was exactly what the Mint wanted to prevent hoarding and speculation. The 1967 Washington quarter had a mintage of over 1.5 billion. That's billion with a B. Most of them were struck for circulation, but the Mint also produced special mint sets, or SMS coins, which were aimed at collectors. These SMS quarters are different from regular circulation strikes. They were made with extra care, featuring sharper details and better finishes, somewhere between regular coins and proof coins. While not considered true proofs, SMS quarters from 1967 often have a satin or semi-proof-like appearance. Some are highly collectible and can sell for hundreds or even thousands depending on condition. But here's the million-dollar question. With such a high mintage, how could any 1967 quarter be worth $1.9 million? Let's talk about that. The extremely valuable 1967 quarter that made headlines was no ordinary coin. It had several key features that made it incredibly rare. First, it was a full-strike coin graded as a mint state 68 or higher, meaning it was in near-perfect condition with incredible luster, virtually no contact marks, and stunning eye appeal. Coins in this grade are extremely rare, especially from the 1960s when quality control wasn't as tight as it is today. Second, this coin displayed an extraordinary mint error. We're talking about a double die obverse, where the front of the coin, including Washington's face and inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust, was struck twice by the die, but slightly off-center each time. This created visible doubling that can be seen without magnification. Even more shocking, some reports indicate that this specific coin may have been struck on a leftover silver planchet, meaning it contains 90% silver instead of the standard copper-nickel clad composition. If true, this would be an incredibly rare error because the U.S. Mint officially stopped producing silver quarters in 1964. A 1967 quarter struck on a silver planchet would be a major minting mistake, and that's exactly what can drive a coin's value into the millions. Combine all of those factors, a rare mint error, a silver planchet, and a near-perfect grade, and you have a once-in-a-lifetime coin that serious collectors are willing to pay almost anything for it. That's how we arrive at a reported value of $1.9 million. Now, does that mean every 1967 quarter is worth a fortune? No. Most 1967 quarters are still worth face value. Even in decent condition, circulated coins typically sell for around 25 to 50 cents, depending on the collector market. But if your coin is uncirculated, part of a special mint set, or has a visible error, It could be worth significantly more. Here's what you need to look for if you want to find a valuable 1967 Washington quarter. First, examine the coin's surface carefully. If the coin looks sharper than normal, with better detail and a slight reflective finish, it could be an SMS coin. Those can sell for anywhere from $5 to over $500, depending on condition and whether they have cameo or deep cameo contrast. Second, look for signs of doubling on the obverse. Use a magnifying glass and examine the letters in Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and the date. If you see doubling or ghosting around the edges of the letters or numbers, you may have a double die. Third, check the edge of the coin. Normal 1967 quarters have a copper-colored edge because of the copper core. But if your coin has a solid silver edge, or if it weighs more than 5.67 grams, you could be holding a silver planchet error. Weighing your coin with a precise scale is a great way to start. If you suspect your coin might be rare, don't clean it. I repeat, never clean a coin. Doing so can destroy its value in seconds. Instead, place it in a protective holder and consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and evaluation. Even if your coin doesn't turn out to be worth $1 million, you might still find something valuable. Some high-grade 1967 quarters with strong eye appeal have sold for over $1,000 at auction. And in a hobby like coin collecting, part of the excitement is never knowing what you'll find next. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, the 1967 Washington quarter is a fascinating coin to hunt for. It marks a transitional period in U.S. coinage. It's tied to one of the most significant shifts in American minting history, and in rare cases, it can make you incredibly rich. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. We've got plenty more stories about valuable coins, rare errors, and how to spot them in everyday change. And if you've ever found a 1967 quarter or any rare coin in circulation, drop a comment below and tell us your story. You never know. Your experience might inspire someone else to start checking their change a little more carefully. Until next time, happy hunting, good luck, and always remember to check your pocket change. That next $1 million coin might be hiding in plain sight. Would you like help with a video title, description, or thumbnail text to go with this script? Welcome back to the channel, where we uncover the rarest, most valuable coins that could be hiding in your pocket change right now. Today's episode is one you do not want to miss, because we're going to dive deep into the story behind the 1993 D Washington quarter, a coin that, on the surface, looks like your average 25-cent piece, but in rare cases has been valued as high as $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single quarter from 1993 with the Denver Mint mark has sold in a private auction for a staggering $1.5 million. That's life-changing money, and it might be sitting in your coin jar right now. So let's break it all down. The history, the key details, and how to know if your 1993 D quarter is the rare one that could make you rich. Let's start with a bit of background. The Washington quarter has been a core part of American coinage since it was first minted in 1932. It was introduced to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, and it replaced the standing Liberty quarter. The original design by John Flanagan features the left-facing profile of Washington on the front, with the word Liberty above his head, the motto "In God We Trust" on the left, and the date centered at the bottom. The reverse of the coin, at least until 1998, features an eagle with wings spread out, perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches below. This design stayed consistent for decades, and in 1993, it was still the standard. Now, as for the 1993 D quarter, the D stands for Denver, where the coin was minted. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 600 million quarters. That's a huge number, so understandably, most people would assume that a 1993 D quarter couldn't possibly be rare. But as always in the world of coin collecting, the devil is in the details. How does a coin from such a large production run become worth over $1 million? The answer lies in rare mint errors, die varieties, and perfect grading. Three factors that can turn a pocket change coin into a numismatic legend. Now let's talk about the specific 1993 D quarter that sold for $1.5 million. This coin wasn't just rare, it was near flawless. It had been preserved in pristine condition for over 30 years, and it was certified as Mint State 70 by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC. That means it had no visible imperfections under 5x magnification, no scratches, no dings, just a perfect, blazing surface with a sharp, well-centered strike. But that's not all. What made this coin truly unique was a dramatic mint error combined with a rare die variety. We're talking about a double die reverse, where the back of the coin, specifically the eagle and lettering like United States of America and quarter dollar, showed clear signs of doubling. Not just a little doubling, but strong, dramatic doubling that's visible even to the naked EYE. In addition to the doubling, this coin had an off-metal strike, meaning it was struck on a planchet intended for a different coin. Instead of being struck on the standard copper-nickel-clad quarter blank, it was accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet or possibly even a foreign coin blank. This kind of error is extremely rare and almost impossible to fake. Now, combine that kind of mint error with a perfect MS70 grade, and you're looking at a coin so rare that it has no equals. There's only one known in this condition with this exact error combo, and when it came up for auction, elite collectors battled for it, ultimately pushing the final price to a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Now let's talk about what you should be looking for in your own collection. First, pull out any 1,993 quarters you have and check the mint mark. If it has a small letter D on the front, just to the right of Washington's ponytail, then you have a Denver Mint coin. Next, examine the coin carefully. Use a magnifying glass if you have one. Look for doubling on the letters, especially on the reverse side. Things like the words United States of America, the motto E pluribus unum, and the denomination quarter dollar. If you see any kind of shadowing or extra lines on those letters, you could be looking at a double die. Also pay close attention to the overall color and weight of the coin. A standard 1993 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams and have a copper core with a nickel coating. But if your quarter looks unusually silvery, has no copper edge, or feels lighter or heavier than normal, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. These kinds of off-metal errors are extremely rare but very valuable. Even if your coin isn't worth $1.5 million, there are plenty of other 1993 D quarters that can sell for solid money. For example, a clean, well-struck 1993 D quarter in Mint State 67 can sell for over $100. In Mint State 68, prices can climb over $500, and the best examples with eye-popping luster and full detail can break four figures. Collectors are especially interested in coins with full strike, strong luster, and zero contact marks. So if your coin has been well preserved, meaning it hasn't been in circulation and has no scratches, you might have something special. Now, if you think you've found a valuable coin, don't clean it. I can't stress this enough. Cleaning a coin can ruin its surface and destroy its value. Instead, place it in a soft cloth or a protective coin holder, and consider having it graded by a reputable company like PCGS or NGC. A professional grading can make a huge difference in its value and help you sell it with confidence. To wrap this up, the 1993 D Washington quarter is a coin most people would overlook, but in rare cases, it can be worth a small fortune. With the right combination of mint error, high grade, and rarity, even a common quarter can become $1 million masterpiece. So check your change. Go through your old collections. Ask your parents or grandparents if they have any coins stashed away, because the next $1 million quarter might already be in your hands. You just haven't looked closely enough. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content on rare coins, coin collecting tips, and what's hiding in your pocket change, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Have you ever found a valuable coin in your change? Drop a comment below and share your story. We'd love to hear about it. Until next time, happy hunting, and don't forget to check your change. Would you like a thumbnail text idea, title suggestions, or a visual guide for editing this script into a polished video? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the world of coins, collectibles, and hidden treasures. Today, we're taking a close look at a coin that you may have in your pocket change right now. We're talking about the 1995 D Washington quarter. At first glance, it might look like just another regular quarter, but trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. Because in recent years, certain 1995 D Washington quarters have been making headlines for selling at incredible prices, And yes, one rare variety has even fetched over $1.4 million. So how is that possible? Let's break it all down. First, a little bit of history. The Washington quarter has been a part of American coinage since 1932. It was originally introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design was created by John Flanagan, and for decades, the Washington quarter remained largely unchanged until the state quarters program began in 1999. But back in 1995, things were still pretty traditional. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 1 billion Washington quarters. Specifically, 1.1 billion coins were struck with the D Mint mark, meaning they were minted in Denver, Colorado. So, at first thought, you might assume that a coin with such a high mintage could never be worth much, right? Well, that's where you're wrong. Despite the massive number of coins minted, not all 1995 D quarters are created equal. In fact, a few extremely rare errors and varieties have turned ordinary-looking coins into million-dollar treasures. Now, let's talk about the specific 1995 D quarter that reportedly sold for $1.4 million. While that number sounds unbelievable, it's true, and it all comes down to a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and a dramatic mint error. So what makes this particular coin so valuable? First off, it was a double die obverse, meaning the image on the front of the coin, including Washington's profile and the lettering, was struck twice by the die, but slightly misaligned. This creates a visible doubling effect on key elements like the word liberty or in God we trust. Now, double die coins are some of the most sought after in the world of numismatics. And although most collectors are familiar with the famous 1955 double die Lincoln cent, the 1995 double die quarter is an entirely different beast. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Most double die errors for the 1995 quarter are known from the Philadelphia Mint, the 1995 P. But the Denver Mint version, the 1995 D double die, is incredibly rare. So rare, in fact, that only a handful of confirmed examples are known to exist. The million-dollar coin wasn't just a double die. It was also graded a perfect mint state 70 by a top grading service. That means under 5x magnification, the coin had no visible flaws, a perfect strike, flawless surfaces, and absolutely stunning eye appeal. Combine that with the rare mint error, and you've got yourself a true numismatic unicorn. Now let's talk about how you can identify whether you have one of these rare 1995 D quarters. First, check the obverse, the front of the coin. Look closely at the letters in Liberty and in God We Trust. If you notice clear doubling, especially if the letters appear slightly thicker or have a shadow-like effect, you might have a double die. Next, flip the coin and look for the mint mark. You want to see the letter D for Denver. Condition also matters a lot. Coins that are scratched, worn down, or dirty are still collectible, but their value drops significantly compared to coins in mint condition. That's why it's always a good idea to store any potential rare finds in a protective coin holder and have them evaluated by a professional. Even if your 1995 D quarter isn't worth millions, some error varieties still sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if they're in high-grade condition or have other unique features, like off-center strikes or clipped planchets. And let's not forget that coin collecting is not just about the money. It's about history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. Each coin tells a story, where it came from, how it was made, and how it survived over the decades. The 1995 D quarter is a perfect example of how something ordinary can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. So here's what you should do. Go through your change, look through those old jars of coins in the attic, check the bottoms of drawers, or maybe even your grandparents' collection. You never know. You might be holding on to a small fortune without even realizing it. And if you do think you found a rare coin, don't clean it. That's super important. Cleaning a coin can actually destroy its value. Instead, handle it gently by the edges, store it safely, and get it graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. To wrap things up, the 1995 D Washington quarter might be a common coin, but in the world of collectibles, it's full of surprises. While most are only worth 25 cents, the rare ones, especially those with major mint errors and in top-grade condition, can be worth thousands, and in extremely rare cases, even over $1 million. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin and currency content, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Have you ever found a rare coin in your pocket change? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, happy collecting, and don't forget to check your change. Would you like a version with suggested visuals or timestamps for editing? Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we dive into the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the incredible stories behind the money we use every day. Today's video is all about a quarter that you might have in your pocket right now. And some versions of this coin are worth way more than 25 cents. We're talking about the 1980 D. Washington quarter. And believe it or not, a rare version of this coin has been reported to sell for as much as $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.6 million for a single quarter. Let's find out why. Now, before we get into what makes this coin so valuable, let's talk about the history behind it. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The original design, created by John Flanagan, featured a left-facing portrait of Washington on the front, and on the back, an eagle with wings spread wide, a design that remained in place until the state quarters began in 1999. By the year 1980, the Washington quarter had already gone through one major change. In 1965, the U.S. Mint had eliminated silver from quarters, replacing the 90% silver composition with a copper-nickel-clad alloy due to rising silver prices and coin hoarding. So by 1980, quarters were being struck with a copper core and a cupronickel outer layer, the same composition still used today. The Denver Mint produced the 1980 D. Washington quarter, and over 518 million of them were struck. That's over 500 million coins, which makes this quarter seem pretty common at first glance. So you might be asking yourself, how can a coin that was minted in the hundreds of millions be worth over $1 million? That's a great question. The answer lies in rare mint errors, exceptional condition, and the world of high-end coin collecting, where one-of-a-kind pieces can go for astronomical prices. Let's break it all down. The 1980 D. Washington quarter that reached a reported value of $1.6 million had a combination of characteristics that made it truly exceptional. First and foremost, it was a major mint error, struck on a planchet that was never meant to be used for a quarter. Some sources report that this particular coin was struck on a gold planchet or possibly a foreign coin blank, which would make it an incredibly rare minting mistake. Now, let's be clear, mint errors like this are not just unusual, they are practically unheard of, especially in the modern coin era. A quarter struck on a wrong planchet, especially one made of precious metal, becomes instantly valuable due to its rarity. But the story doesn't end there. This particular 1980 D quarter was also graded by a top-tier grading service as Mint State 70, a perfect grade. That means it had absolutely no visible flaws, even under magnification. It had flawless surfaces, razor-sharp strike details, and brilliant luster. Coins in this grade are the best of the best and extremely difficult to come by, especially from circulation-era strikes like the 1980 D. When you combine a flawless grade with a dramatic and extremely rare mint error, you've got a coin that is literally one of a kind. And when something is one of a kind in the coin world, especially with historical significance, collectors are willing to spend whatever it takes to own it. That's how a simple quarter can end up with a final sale price of over $1.6 million. So how can you tell if your 1980 D. Washington quarter might be valuable? Let's talk about what to look for. First, flip your coin over and check for the mint mark. If you see a small letter D on the front of the coin, to the right of Washington's ponytail, that means it was minted in Denver. Next, check the edges and weight. A regular 1980 D quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams and have a copper-colored stripe on the edge from the copper core. If your coin appears to be made of a different metal, maybe silver or gold in color with no copper stripe, you might have a coin struck on the wrong planchet. Use a digital scale to weigh the coin accurately. If it's significantly lighter or heavier than 5.67 grams, that's a red flag worth investigating. Then, inspect the coin closely for any visible errors. Some valuable 1980 D quarters have been found with off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, and clipped planchets. These mint errors can raise the value significantly, sometimes to hundreds or thousands of dollars, even if the coin isn't in perfect condition. Lastly, consider the condition of your coin. If it has never been circulated, has strong luster, no scratches, and full detail, it could be worth submitting to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Coins that grade Mint State 65 or higher can command strong premiums in the collector market. And if, by some miracle, your coin comes back graded Mint State 70, you could be looking at a small fortune. Let's take a quick look at the value scale for the 1980 D Washington quarter. Circulated examples, the ones you're likely to find in your pocket change, are generally worth face value, about 25 cents. Uncirculated examples in Mint State 60 to 63 might sell for a few dollars. High-grade Mint State 65 to 67 examples can fetch anywhere from $20 to $100, depending on the market and overall eye appeal. Mint State 68 examples are rare and have sold at auction for over $500. But the real money is in those rare error coins, especially if they involve off-metal strikes, double dies, or incredibly high grades. Those are the coins that push into the thousands, tens of thousands, and in extremely rare cases, even into the million-dollar territory. So, should you go through your old change jars, coin collections, and pocket change looking for 1980 D quarters? Absolutely. Because while most are common, you just might be the person lucky enough to find that one in a billion coin, the kind that makes headlines and changes lives. And remember, if you think you found something special, don't clean the coin. That can destroy its value. Store it safely in a holder or coin flip and get it examined by an expert. The small cost of grading a coin is nothing compared to what it might be worth. To wrap things up, the 1980 D Washington quarter is a coin most people overlook. It's been around for decades, it's everywhere, and most of the time, it's worth 25 cents. But every once in a while, one of these coins turns out to be something extraordinary, a true treasure hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content about rare coins, historical money, and how to spot value in everyday change, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Have you ever found a rare coin or mint error in circulation? Drop a comment below and share your story. We'd love to hear about your finds. Until next time, good luck, happy hunting, and don't forget to check your change. That next million-dollar coin could be closer than you think. Would you like title ideas, thumbnail suggestions, or a matching video description for this script? Welcome back to the channel where we explore rare coins, hidden treasures, and the fascinating stories behind the change in your pocket. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1993 P. Washington quarter, a coin millions of people have spent without a second thought, but one that could secretly be worth a fortune. One rare version of this coin has reportedly sold for as much as $1.2 million. That's right, $1.25 worth of metal, turned into over $1 million by the right combination of error, rarity, and condition. What makes the 1993 P. Washington quarter so special? Why is one of them worth more than most people make in a year? And how can you tell if you might be holding one of these incredibly valuable coins? Let's break it all down. First, a little background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of America's first president, George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse features a profile of Washington facing left, and for decades, the reverse displayed an eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness for war, with olive branches below to symbolize peace. By 1993, the quarter had been in circulation for over 60 years, and the design had become a staple of everyday American life. But this was also the calm before the storm. Just a few years later, in 1999, the state quarters program would completely revolutionize the quarter series. But in 1993, the design was still traditional, unchanged, and widely used. Now let's focus on the 1993 P specifically. The P mint mark means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. That year, Philadelphia struck over 639 million Washington quarters. That's a massive number. So in most cases, these coins are considered common. A circulated 1993 P quarter with moderate, whereas usually only worth its face value, 25 cents. Even in higher grades, most examples might fetch between $1 and $5, maybe a little more if uncirculated. So how can one version of this coin be worth over $1 million? The answer comes down to one simple but powerful truth in coin collecting. Rarity plus error plus condition equals value. The 1993 P quarter that sold for a reported $1.2 million was not just any quarter. It was a one-of-a-kind error coin with multiple factors working in its favor. Let's talk about the possible reasons it reached such a staggering value. First, the coin was struck with a major mint error. According to reports, it may have been struck on a foreign planchet, meaning the metal blank used for the coin wasn't intended for a U.S. quarter. This can happen when a leftover blank from another country's coinage is accidentally fed into the coining presses. When that happens, the result is an American design struck on a coin with the wrong weight, color, or metal content. Another possibility is that the coin was struck on a silver planchet, which would be a huge error considering quarters had not been made from silver since 1964. A silver 1993 P quarter would not only be rare, it would be almost unheard of, but that's not all. The $1.2 million quarter was also graded as Mint State 70 by a leading grading service, meaning it was in absolutely flawless condition. No scratches, no blemishes, no wear, a perfect coin. For modern coins, especially those that were mass-produced for circulation, finding one in perfect condition is incredibly rare. Finding one with a major mint error in perfect condition is almost impossible. And that's exactly what makes it worth such a massive amount. Collectors and investors pay top dollar for coins that are unique. If only one exists with that specific error, that grade, and that mint mark, it becomes a must-have for high-end collectors. And when the bidding starts at that level, it doesn't take long for the price to reach six or even seven figures. Let's talk about how you can check your own 1993 P quarters to see if you might be sitting on something valuable. First, flip your coin and check the mint mark. It should have a small P to the right of Washington's ponytail. That confirms it was made in Philadelphia. Next, look closely at the coin's surface. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. If the coin looks unusually shiny, with mirror-like surfaces and deep contrast between the raised design and the background, you may have an uncirculated or even proof-like coin. Then, check for any visible errors. Some things to look for include double die obverse or reverse, where the letters or design elements look doubled off center strike, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't aligned correctly when struck wrong metal. If the coin looks silver in color with no copper edge, it may have been struck on the wrong planchet clip planchet, where part of the coin is missing due to an error during the blanking process. If your coin has any of these features, and especially if it's in extremely good condition, you should absolutely consider having it evaluated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Even if you don't have the million-dollar coin, there are still valuable varieties of the 1993 P Washington quarter. Some examples in Mint State 67 and above have sold for over $100. High-end proof-like or satin finish examples can sell for several hundred. And if you find one with a dramatic error, like an off-center strike or double die, even in circulated condition, it could be worth hundreds or more. But the most important rule of all, never clean your coin. Cleaning a coin, even gently, can destroy its surface and reduce its value dramatically. If you think you've found something special, handle it carefully by the edges, place it in a soft flip or coin holder, and send it in for professional evaluation. What can we learn from the 1993 P Washington quarter? It reminds us that even the most ordinary-looking coin can hold incredible value if the conditions are right. Most people walk past this coin every day, spend it without a thought, or leave it sitting in jars. But somewhere out there, among all those billions of coins, is a rare handful that could be worth thousands, or even over $1 million. And the best part, you don't have to be rich to find one. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and the curiosity to start looking. Check your change. Look through old jars. Dig through your childhood coin collections. Ask family members if they have any old coins tucked away. You never know, the next rare 1993 P quarter might already be in your hands. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more content about rare coins, valuable errors, and how to spot treasure in your everyday change, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new episode. And if you've ever found a valuable or unusual coin, drop a comment below and share your story. We love hearing from fellow collectors and treasure hunters. Until next time, happy hunting, and don't forget to check your change. That $1 million coin could be closer than you think. Would you like suggestions for a thumbnail, title, and description to match this script and boost engagement?